welcome, Katie. It's great to have you here as a Visionary Award honoree. As a reporter in technology, you must have a lot of startups asking you how to get attention. What is your advice for young companies thinking about how they can get recognized?
It's a lofty question, and I think startups are both an exciting thing to cover, but also when I'm getting questions on how do you tackle it as a startup, it's challenging. But the time right now is so different, and it's funny, today I'll be talking about how in the last 5 to 10 years, things have changed so much, and there's so much opportunity in the startup space. So I think it's ripe and prime for individuals to make a move onto the scene. Mm-hmm. And every case study that I work with is different, and I have the opportunity to do a lot of tech consultation as well. So I approach each case differently, and I obviously always lend my advice when I can.
Awesome. You must have seen, several amazing technologies in your career to date. What's the one that really stands out for you as kind of the most transformational or just cool? The innovation that really, was for you the biggest wow.
A lot of amazing technologies. I would have to say, though, probably my favorite to date was being able to challenge IBM's Watson, the supercomputer, in a full game of Jeopardy. That, to me, was such a transitional period, both personally and to see not so much the singularity of how robots could one day take over, perhaps, but just to see the power of a supercomputer being fed all of this documentation, from Wikipedias to encyclopedias to Bibles and novels, and then being able to process it within seconds.
That is amazing.
It was incredible. And then to take him on in a game of Jeopardy, of which I got smoked, by the way, it was amazing. And I think, to come full circle on that, I volunteer with a small boutique agency called Candlelighters. We work with families that are diagnosed, the kids are diagnosed with cancer. And a lot of the kids are going to Sloan Memorial Kettering, which is one of the most well-known cancer centers in the world. And now Watson technology is being used there.
That's
and
amazing.
Being used in medical to actually, hey, if we have a patient here, a little child that has a type of cancer, and we don't know the hypotheses as to what it could be, guess what? You pump all that into Watson, and he spits out an answer that a doctor can then work with as well.
That's amazing.
So I think to see that come full circle, and to see Watson, not as, yes, this game show stunt that gained a lot of PR, very cool, but to see it in the real world and the capabilities of what robotics can be doing, I think is fascinating.
That's really cool. Very transformational for the world. So you've talked a little bit about AI and machine learning. When you think about the next 5, 10 years and all of the technology, innovation, and disruption that's going on today, what are the other 3 that you're maybe the most excited about in terms of potential?
AI is definitely exciting for me, and also virtual reality I would have to go with as my one. Having the opportunity to experience Oculus, for example, in the early stages of Oculus, and obviously Oculus Rift is a virtual reality technology that is probably going to be poised to be one of the biggest technologies to be talked about this year. I would put that as my one because experiencing it firsthand, I actually was training on a Navy boat at the birthplace of Oculus Rift, and I didn't know how immersive the experience would be. And I popped Oculus on, and here I am on this Navy boat. It became so intense and so real for me that I actually got motion sickness.
The same thing happened to me.
Right? But it was until you firsthand experienced that you could actually speak to the power of this experience and beyond gaming, which I think, by the way, I must say, it took me a moment to think about when I wanted to flip back into this real reality because it was so immersive. Mm-hmm. But I thought about, yes, that's great for gaming. What could this do for physical therapy? What could this do for those kids that I work with at the hospital? Amazing to use at a dentist or a doctor's office. That's transformational technology for me. So I think virtual reality, right off of AI, is definitely a one. I think the obvious answer to would be wearables. Every day I'm reading a different article about wearables. Today, yes, of course, I'm wearing an Apple Watch. Just today I read an article that wearables are up this year 173%. And I think the likes of the Apple Watch and the Fitbits and the Jawbones of the world will just keep lending that to the popularity. But I think it's really amazing when we talk about, instead of just saying the word wearables, for me is a niche example. What this watch has done for me, I feel like it's finally meeting design and purpose. And I'm somebody that works out about 2 hours a day. I'm like an obsessive workout person. To have my real-time heart rate calculated and to tell me where I'm at with my goals on my wrist, but also have emails and texts coming through. Wow. You can tell me that the sensors aren't good enough all day. This is a pretty incredible place as to where we're at with wearables.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
Thanks.